Hello and welcome back to our Java tutorial series. In last video, we explored multi-dimensional array and how they help us to organize data and row and column. But what if each row has different number of elements? Currently, we have seen like we have fixed data into row and column. But in case if each row has different number of elements, then what we will do? That's it where jagged array comes into play. So in the today's video, we are going to learn about jagged array. So generally, what is jagged array? A jagged array is multi-dimensional array where the rows can have different length. This flexibility makes jagged array useful in scenario where data is not uniform, such as storing test score of a student with different number of subjects. So if you don't know anything about 2D array, then please watch the earlier videos. So how we can declare and initialize a jagged array? As I told you, the row can have different size. So jagged array is declared as two-dimensional array. That means the type is here int to a square bracket, but it is jagged because the second dimensional, that means the size of each sub array is not specified. And the outer array has fixed size of 3. This means it will hold 3 sub array. So if I am going to put the data, as you can see on your screen, so the first sub array, that means jagged array 0 index, is assigning an array of size 3 containing the value as 1, 2, 3. Similarly, the second sub array, that means jagged array of 1 index, is assigning an array of size 2 containing the value as 4, 5. And the jagged array of 2, that means the third sub array, is assigning an array of size 4 containing the values 6, 7, 8, 9. So you can see, right, at 0 index we have 1, 2, 3. At 1 index we have 4, 5. And at index 2 we have 6, 7, 8, 9. So if I want to access the value of 2, how we can access? We can access like jagged array of 0 and 1 index. It will give the output as 2 because here row is 0 and column is 1. So you can declare and initialize in different way also, like this. At one line you can just specify the values like you can see on your screen. So let's do the code. So let's declare the first of all jagged array. So I can say int a square bracket and a square bracket, and you can give the name as jagged array. So you can change the variable name, it's depend on you. And after that just declare the value like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's first of all try to access the value as 6. So how we can access? So just use this out, and you can give the variable name as jagged array, and you can give the index position. So the row will be 2 and the column will be 0. So let's run. So you can see we are getting value as 6. So how we can iterate? We can iterate as same as how we have iterated the 2D array. So let's create one for loop, and I can say here int row equal to 0 and row length. How you can do? Just use jagged array dot length row plus plus because it is an increment way. Then similarly you can just use column also. So I can say int col equal to 0. Always it will start with 0 index, and you can say like col will be less than jagged array of row, that means 0 index, 1 index and 2 index dot length, because at the first time we are going to get data like this one. So it is one array. That's why we are using here jagged array of row. That means at first time it will be jagged array of 0. So we'll get this data. Then length. Length means 1, 2, 3. We'll get the length as 3. Then call plus plus and just use here sys out. And how you can access the data? You can just use jagged array, after that row and column. So if you have a doubt what I am doing, please watch the multidimensional array video, so your all the doubt will be clear, where I have explained in depth and detail. Now if I will run, it will give me data as a one line. So let's comment this one and remove this println and just use here sys out. So if you run, now it will give the data as a row and column, but this structure is not perfectly looking fine. So what you can do, just use double quotes and give a space. So now if you run, you can get the data like how we have declared. If you have any doubt, then please use the breakpoint And you can see at zeros index we have this array, at first index we have this, and second index we have this data, and how we are iterating. So some key point you have to remember, like jagged arrays allows rows to have different length. You need to explicitly initialize each row before adding elements, and use rows dot length to get the number of element in a specific row. Array row dot length. So I'm giving one simple program. You have to write a program to calculate the sum of all element in jagged array. So advantage of jagged array. Jagged arrays are memory efficient since they allocate space only for the element you need. They are ideal when working with dataset of varying size such as seating arrangement in classroom or exam score. So I'm giving one more task to you. Create a jagged array to store the number of goals scored by player in 3 football match where some player participated in fewer match. Write a program to find the average goal scored by each player. I know this is little bit difficult, but let's try to write your solution in the comment. So in the next video, we are going to learn about common array operation.